Sorry. OBS shit itself. To start and stop again, I'll resend the links and stuff. Let me do that now. Yeah. Alright. See if this works. Just editing links on the Direct Misfire Facebook page. And hopefully it doesn't shit itself. I might delete the other video that just then, so I'll just introduce myself again. Welcome back to the Australian Kings of War Masters Round 2. We're playing this stockpile scenario. We have Rex and his Dwarves versus Lyle and his Kingdoms of Men. They're just, as you can see now, setting up their spaces. Lyle's going to be at the top of the screen there, while Rex will be on the bottom. And they've just laid out their deployment zones and taking it turns to deploy. Looks like Lyle's won the roll-off there, so we had to deploy first. And we'll be taking first turn, probably. A few technical issues today. What are you going to do? I'm not sure if the link that I've just posted is working. I'll get to that shortly. Okay. Let's see if this works. If not, they'll always be on YouTube to look back on. Okay, now that's done. Let's have a look at their lists. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now if we change this again, change the source of this thing. Where is it? We'll go with Lyle first. Is that coming up right? No, it's too zoomed in. There we go. So Lyle and his Kingdoms of Men is running 2 regiments of Spear Phalanx. They have Indomitable Will to give that inspiring if needed, as well as Pikes, which gives the Phalanx good against Cavalry, which Rex doesn't have, or Flying units, which Rex doesn't have. 2 hordes of Foot Guard. They've got 200 weapons, making them hit a bit harder, hitting on 3s, but their defense lowers to defense 4. 2 crossbow blocks, which have been upgraded to carry rifles instead of crossbows. Same ranged, but piercing 2. Beast Cavalry running 2 hordes. They both fly, they're both speed 10. Both have Thunderous Charge 1 and Vicious. One is Mead of Madness, and for the bit of, I think it's Wild Charge, +1, means they can charge a little bit further than normal. And the other's got Brute of Haste, making speed 11. Pretty fast. 2 Ballista, long range shooting, an Army Standard Bearer, which will give the Aura of Life Leech to the foot troops. Means they can heal back in combat, if they do damage. A Wizard with the Edge Periscope, which means he can see over his own dudes to cast spells, but can't be seen back. Lightning Bolt 3 and Wither and Perish are the spells it's rocking. He's got a second Wizard there with the Conjurer's Staff, meaning he can re-roll a missed spell cast. Again, Lightning Bolt 3, but this time Scorched Earth, making it harder for the I think it disorders the troops actually, so Thunderous Charge and all that stuff is not going to work on Rex. And lastly, a general on Winged Beast. Pipes of Terror, giving him brutal, meaning in combat essentially does an extra bit of damage. And if we jump over to Rex's list, he is rocking 2 hordes of Ironclad, standard infantry, hitting on 4s with defense 5. They've both got Throwing Mastiff as an option. That is a 12-inch ranged, once only shooting attack. A Shield Breaker Horde. They hit better on hitting on 3s, crushing strength 2, so they damage better. He's got 3 Flame Belchers, much like in the previous game where you had the weapon teams and the trombones. This is them. Same sort of thing, 14-inch with Shattering, meaning a bit of extra nerve damage. A Steel Behemoth, which is a big jerk. On a Chariot base with Golok's Fury, which is an upgrade, giving the Steel Behemoth a gun. That does better. It is a defense 6 monstrosity, high nerve with a lot of attacks. A Dwarf Stone Priest, which is the Dwarven Wizard. Radiance of Life, meaning anyone within 6 inches heals 1 point of damage after this thing moves. And a Conjured Staff, like Lyle's Wizard, to reroll a missed spellcast. Bane Chant to buff units, Scorched Earth to hinder. He's also got Faber Ironheart, another jerk, who is defense 6. And got a cannon. I hate this guys. Dwarf Lord on Large Beast. And then he's taken a formation. I'm pretty sure, if this is the correct list, I hope it is. Which gives a horde of Ironclad, a regiment of Ironclad. They've all got Throwing Mastiffs and a Standard Bearer with the loot, which gives that Standard Bearer the spell Bane Chant. Alright, let's jump back over to the table. Let me change these because I did change them before, but they crapped themselves. So here we have Rex at the bottom with his Dwarfs. And then we have Lyle at the top of the screen with his KOM. How's that? Hey, I've got to change the scenario as well. And it is not turn 7 still. That was the previous game. Alrighty, now we're back in the action. Blah. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I think we've played Rex a few times, and both hate them, because they're dwarves. Dave's a bit skewy, so you just have to take my word for it when there's not much on the file left there. In the bottom right corner, or bottom left corner, just a regiment of Dwarfs. You can see the stockpile tokens in the center there, the gold ones. That's what they're playing for this game. And good to see we've got 6 viewers. You found it. After having to stop and start again. Might be time to upgrade this laptop that we're using, so I think stockpile isn't part of the usual suite of rules in the main rulebook. Can't remember which book it came from. Maybe the previous Clash of Kings. But I'll just try and find the scenario so I can read it out. Alright. So those 3 piles there, they've got a stack of tokens. And I think there's 7 all up, and a unit needs to be touching the pile to pick up a token. You can have multiple units touching it, so they can both pick up one each, but you can only pick up one at a time. And you can just have one unit sitting there and keep picking up tokens as long as there are tokens left. And the players score at the end of the game 1 point per token they're holding. These are loot tokens, so when you pick it up, if you have a fast unit, their speed drops down to 5. You can't be surged if you're undead. I don't think Wind Blast or Enthrall works on them either, because it's heavy. So there are some negatives to holding the loot token. If a unit's holding it, you can drop it willingly, or if they die in combat, then your opponent can pick it up. Looks like both players are just about ready to get going. There's a big white crate in the middle of my view. I'll just see if I can get them to move it. Thank you very much. Lyle. Move the white thing. Yeah, please. No, just I can't see anything. Thank you very much. Obscuring my view. So Lyle's got a very pretty, I think it might be Titanforge models for that Japanese aesthetic. Not you can tell from the view that you're looking at. The roll for first turn has gone, and it looks like Rex has decided to go. Whew. Man, talking a lot already. It's only been one game. And I'm over it. Game 2 of 5. And I'll see if I can get the results of the previous round up for you while all the boring stuff happens. Yes, good luck to both. I don't think there's really any long range, so I'm sure Rex is going to push a few things forward and not shoot anything. So let me just update the results here. And then I will post them. Okay, looks like who won out of that one. Alright. We were only waiting for a couple of results at the previous round, like at the end of the last stream. I'm already stuffing up the results here. Okay, I think that's correct. So I'll just jump over to that and then come back here. So that's where we were at the end of the previous stream. And if I save these things, it should automatically update. There we go. So that's what we're currently looking at. I'll also update the current matchup. While I'm doing this. Right. Alright, so at current rankings, we've got the top table of Mr. T, Matt Torella, with his Bentkin versus Jeff Trash. So it must have been a good win on Trashy's side with his Abyssal Dwarfs. Who else have we got? We've got Max, that we've just seen, and he's up against AG, Andrew Goodman. We've also got Kakwa, the self-proclaimed People's Champion, up against Adam Story. Sorry for the lack of talking. I am trying to concentrate on what I'm doing, one thing at a time. Next year, if we stream again, I'm pretty sure it'll be over in Brisbane next year, which might be a hindrance to us actually getting there, like the cost and whatnot. Hopefully, we'll have someone else to assist with this rubbish. Okay. We've also got Luke versus Damo. And then Stephen Tuck versus Dan Harwood. I'm just going to use abbreviations because I can. Got Rex versus Lyle, obviously, what we're watching right there. And we got Paul right down the bottom versus Ed. I think, is that everyone? What's Steven? Who's Steven versing? Matt Curtis, okay. Alright, I'll save this and then pop it on stream now. Oh, we're still waiting for them to do their things. Is this the right one? We'll see. That did save. Cool. So it should just be a case of changing this and changing that. I'll have this done next time for round 3 beforehand, so you don't have to hear me walk through all this rubbish. There you go. You've seen that. Back to the table. Now Selic also just jumped in between rounds to fix up some things for me. The power of technology. But I haven't learnt how to use it yet. So maybe round 3. Oh, what am I doing? I haven't even had a proper drink now. Okay, so it looks like Rex has done what he does best and pushed Dwarfs forward. Very exciting. Thinks Ed will be more interesting to watch because, you know, he has movement. But unfortunately, because there's a different range of miniatures, not sure exactly what they are just from my eye here. We'll bring up their lists again so I can try and put 2 and 2 together. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that thing on the far right there, just before the token, is a Spear Phalanx regiment. Yeah, we'll try for the streams. We'll try and put on interesting matchups, so it's not just the top table all the time. Because otherwise, we'll be watching the same crap. I mean, same good lists over and over. While I try and figure out how to use this annotation that Selic has so generously set up for me to be able to draw on the screen. Alright, let's see, does this work? Am I going to ruin the whole thing? Hello? Hey! So they're the Spear Phalanx. But the only problem is, how do I get rid of that circle now? Solid colour. Fill. Solid colour. Fill it with green. Hey, got rid of it. Nice. I don't know. At least we have something. At least I can point at things now, instead of trying to describe the relative position of the sun and whatnot. Okay, so it looks like Lyle has moved his foot guard infantry hordes, the ones with the big red bits of scenery there, onto the forest and hill. The forest will slow him down, but if Rex goes to charge him, they'll be hindered, making it harder to damage him or hit him. And it also gives him cover from any of the shooting, while the other one just left of it is exposed. I could probably use a third screen for this setup. Then some to select future streams, 3 screens, which means we definitely need to get a different laptop because this only has one input. Okay. It looks like there's that second Spear Phalanx next to the Horde. This one here. Tory Gates, thank you. That's what they are. Words hardcore. Looks like one of the wizards there that he's pointing at, trying to get line of sight between the 2 units and the forest. Threading the needle there. Yes, Selic, good luck to both these players as well, and hopefully you have a good day with your events, which is why you couldn't be here. Is that the thing on a what's it? Pretty sure that's going to be on the next book. Thing on what's it? General on Winged Beast is my guess. So measuring the arcs there, just to see if he can get into a flank, but I would have thought Rex would just pivot. Okay, so he's trying to get as close as he can to the Dwarves, legally. So from the starting point, moving it, pivoting, and then moving again. Maybe? I don't know. That's what it looks like is happening. Just to make sure that he's not being janky with his movement. That also looks like it's next to a unit of beast cavalry. Large cavalry horde. These are also flying Thunderous Charge and Vicious, which means they get to reroll their 1s when they're damaging. Not sure which is which in terms of which has Mead of Madness, which is Brew of Haste. Probably doesn't matter for this stream. This means one can charge 21 inches, the other can charge 22, essentially. I might have to get myself an Alco Bev. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll leave you with these guys and I'll come back in just a sec. What did I miss? There's obviously some ranged fire happening. Can't remember which has ranged fire. We've got crossbow blocks, that's why. 2 hordes of rifles. I've got a really long cord on this headset. I'll see if I can swing around to see which is which. They're the rifles on the left there. Yeah, couldo. Probably saw their hands pointing out the rifles to me. Doing all the shooting. Oh. If you've got a lazy Saturday, not doing much, have a couple of drinks. It's past midday. The more you're drunk, the better I will be. Well, I guess. The perception, at least. And just another reminder, after this round we'll have lunch. So a little bit of a break. Might be a half hour or so. I don't know. I'll get confirmation towards the end of this. Alright, let's going back to Rex's list to figure out which one of those units. Well, most of the things are hordes, so that one must be a Bullwalker regiment. That's a Dwarven unit with spears. They've got phalanx, great against flying and cavalry. And it looks like he's wavered something. Lyle's wavered something, which means that won't be able to do anything. But they are dwarves. They have the stupid, dumb dwarf rule of being headstrong, which means they can shake it off under a successful die roll. Let me just change this. It is no longer deployment. We are now in turn 2. Okay, and they're just going to confirm when they can pick up a token. They're just loot tokens, so they're just whenever they've ended a phase on a thing. Movement, shooting, combat, whatever. Right at the end. So Rex, on his turn, moves up another Bullwalker unit on the far left there, just on the side of the screen, and moves one of the heroes. I'm guessing Dwarf Lord on Large Beast, probably, or Faber. Might have to move the mat across for round 3 to get more of it in frame. I'll go one of the hordes. And again, using those bases to see the distance and see what can fit in where without actually having to pick up your unit and then put them back in the exact same spot. Thanks everyone for joining. We've got 12 people watching at the moment, which is nice. Good to have some company, even if it is just me talking into the void. Now what Lyle is going to do, I mean, we haven't finished with the Rex movement, and this could just put a big spanner in the works, because the Dwarfs are so sturdy. If Rex is able to get onto those points, he's denying Lyle from taking anything, because you have to touch the points, the token to claim it, which means he has to chew through that Dwarven defense to even have a chance. And it's not like those hordes of infantry are the massive damage dealers. The ones on the hill and one in the forest, they're just... Oh, they might be the foot guard, which are the crushing strength one, but that still might not be enough. Yeah, so that's right. So the spears are the ones, the smaller squarish units, while the Tory gates are the foot guard. Okay, so we can't quite cover the entirety of that token, unless you're going to shift around. Because that token's still exposed, with the right positioning, Lyle might be able to charge both of those foot guard into that horde there, and if both of them are touching right on the corner, they can both pick up a token. And I'll just share my streaming link with the workmates. Bear with me for a moment while I copy that. Round 2. Okay, done. So Rex, making sure he's not exposing his flank to the big nasties, the large beasts over there, or the beast cavalry and the dude on the big what's it. Because that would be bad. And because they're the bulwarkers, the phalanx, the spears, it's only effective in the front, so if they get flanked, that all the benefits, not good. So what we're doing here is just checking to see if that large beast can fit into the flank of that horde right in the center on those 2 tokens. And if it, like we said in the first round, if it can't fit, it can't charge. Protecting that flank from that big nasty unit. Ah, tasty. Those little yellow arrows that you can see are markers for regiments and, well, units, really. Just pop them on the corner or use them to indicate something. So you can move a unit while keeping that spot free and put them back. Sort of like those MDF bases that you saw that was gone out. Same sort of thing. Alright, so probably the most finicky bit, like we said in the first round, turns 2 is the most finicky, because that's where it's the precursor to the loggerheads, and Rex is making sure that all of his angles are correct, nothing can get anything into the flank, and forcing Lyle to only make contact in the front of the Dwarves, which is their strongest point. Rex has been playing these Dwarves for a long time, so he knows exactly how to use them. Meanwhile, Lyle's army is very pretty. I'm sure he'll be fine. The players aren't, they're only a few meters away from me, so I can't speak too loud and then put them off either. Okay, so looks like we're measuring the ranges here from the big guns. Welcome, Josh. No, you're not sure what's going on, but thanks for the support. So we're still in the... I think we're done with the movement now? Or are we still moving things? So Rex down the bottom has left a bit of a gap in between those two hordes, and he's shooting one of his jerk dwarves off into the spear regiments of Lyle. That yellow marker that you can see there at the end of the tape measure, just to see if that horde can charge the flank of something. Maybe he's worried about getting charged. He's a dwarf, he'll be fine. And another one of his chunky hordes, which aren't going to do much this game. Looks like they're just the second line. But Lyle does have a couple of flying units, so he's definitely got the speed on him. He should be able to fly around the back and start threatening the rear of units in turns 4 and 5 onwards. I don't think he should do it next turn. And you never want to fly around the back. Even if they're crap. They can still put out some damage because they triple their attacks in the rear. But these are dwarves, and they're very hard to shift. And Rex has got 3 flame belchers, so they're those square things. I've got a drawy thing now, I can use that. Excuse me while I burp into the microphone. Pardon me, jeez. Now, does it work? So these things here. Flame belchers. They put out a lot of firepower, a lot of dice at 14 inches, which is a little bit longer range than your standard war engine of the same type. They're slow, but who cares? $15 attacks each, Jesus. Little baby cheeses, that's a lot. Tape measure is interesting. So that's also one way to put off your opponent. If ever you're playing a game, just start measuring stuff. You don't have to do anything with it, just start measuring. Your opponent will think you've got a plan and start doubting themselves. Okay, the dwarves have finished their movement. Now Rex is going to unload all of the weapons in his shooting phase. So many dice. Not sure which unit is shooting at which. Probably the flame belchers. Well, hopefully we can see when the damage is being rolled just exactly what unit is being targeted. Okay, so it looks like he's shooting those flame belchers, probably two of them, the only two that were in range. These ones here. Burning into this one here. That is a very nasty block of dudes that he doesn't want to get Lyle to allow in combat. I need a better way to get rid of this. I'm just using paint. It's a green screen in paint. It's better than nothing. Thanks again, Selig, for setting that up. See, the thing with Rex's list here is, not only is it sturdy, but the amount of firepower it has. So you have sort of no choice but to try and get through to the back, but unless you've got flying, you really can't, so you have to weather the storm. And by the time you get through them, you've got nothing left. On piles the damage. That was probably the big chariot unit right where Rex's head is, firing his Golok's gun at that central horde. Focus firing everything into it. It's a 235 point unit, that thing, so it's 10% of the army. Looks like Rex has released a couple of dogs as well. He's loaded up each unit with one throwing mastiff, which he sicks onto his enemy. Short range, always hits on 4s. I think with 8 attacks. Confusing one. Doesn't seem like much, but when you load up every single unit with one, it all adds up. So on the far left there, we've got some more firepower going into the Beast Cav over here. So that's 4 of his throwing mastiffs used. They're one use only. Lyle doesn't have to worry about them in the future, but can't worry about it if you're dead. And looking at the body language of the guys here, well, I think he knows he's in trouble. I'll see if I can get just a sneaky capture of the guys playing. Just hang on a sec. Boop boop boop. Good luck, Lyle. Let's get back to the table. The onslaught continues. Large beast cav on the right there, taking some damage. Probably not enough to do anything. Looks like they were just some dogs, but I don't think Lyle has anything in his list that allows him to recover wounds or heal any of that damage. So, he's got life leech 1 for infantry, which is not the big guys. So after a couple of rounds, they'll start looking pretty damaged. Meanwhile, Rex does have damage mitigation. He's got Radiance of Life with his Stone Priest. So at the end of every move, everyone within 6 heals 1. It looks like he's done a nerve check for that foot guard horde and taken him off. And seeing if he can sort of waver any other unit to prevent it from doing anything the next turn, but it didn't damage them enough and didn't roll high enough. Excuse me. Okay, looks like we've got some combat here, just on the hill, right in the center of the board by that yellow token. And because they were phalanx, they're good against the flying units or cavalry or anything like that. It made it harder for Rex to try and hit. And it could only do a couple of damage, which really didn't do anything. So now we are at the bottom of the second turn. Lyle's response to Rex's movements there. In the movement phase, let's see what he can do. Those 2 hordes on the top left there are his rifle blocks. I would suspect, so these ones here, boop and boop, that they aren't going to be doing anything. They would sort of want to sort of sit there and shoot. They don't have steady aim, so if they move, it's going to make them harder to hit anything. Lessens their accuracy. If they can prevent having to move, excellent. I know it's difficult to see, but it looks like this unit here, its leader point, is right inside this the edge of that forest, which means that leader should be able to see out to anything there. Whereas this unit here can't see past this forest. That's pretty much its range. So you can see them. It's 24-inch range. You might be able to see one of these guys. If that unit was behind that forest, it would not be able to shoot anything. Yeah, it'd be great if I had a better system to do this. Can I just do this, and then change that colour? Honk. Yep, that'll do. Let's do that from now on. You'll just get a big red splodge on the screen every now and then as I erase stuff. So Rex has picked up 2 tokens so far. Dead center and just to the right of it. One on the far left is probably Lyle's all to himself, if he can keep units alive at the end of the game. I would think that this one here... Oop, I'm drawing on the wrong screen. This one here... Oh, come on, give me a red. There we go. This one here will sit on this one for the entirety of the game, but turn 4 and 5, I would think that Rex would move something like these guys out to try and sort of shoot. Alright, let's get rid of the splodges. Whoop. Oh, there we go. Nice. Nope. There we go. Thanks for your patience. We're slightly off camera here, on the very, very far left. But Lyle has some beast cavalry. These guys here, they fly. And I think he's trying to make them go over the back of this, and will probably make them face this way. They get 1 pivot, because they're nimble. Oh, get away. There we go. Is the game evenly matched, or is there a favourite meta that will win or come down on skill? For the most part, with Kings of War, it does come down to skill. If they've got 2 players, they got similar lists. Obviously, the one with better skill or experience will do better. But it is also dice. Dice are involved, and sometimes dice just say no. This is, I would think, a bit of a difficult matchup for Lyle because the Dwarves are very static, high defense, and he's got a list that does a lot of shooting. Lyle doesn't have a lot to sort of mess with that. On a more balanced list with against an army that has lower defense or not as much shooting, you might have a better time. But no, there's no real meta. There's some people who like to take some real, it seems like filthy lists, but then they just sort of crumble to another type of list, like a rock, paper, scissors. But for the most part, I think for the Australian meta, it's all quite varied. We might see a couple of the Ogre players, there's 2 Ogre players in this tournament, running very, very, very similar lists. If we get them on stream, that's probably as meta as you're going to get, but while good, they're not unbeatable. And it comes down to dice and the scenario they're playing and all that jazz. Okay, so it looks like Lyle is lining up those flying large beast cavalry. Where are we? These guys here. He's scoping for a flank. They've got a 21 to 22 inch range on this flying unit, so he might be able to get a flank there. He can't fit here. There's just not enough room. So if there was range, he might be able to get there. So I'm not sure what he's thinking in that respect. I mean, personally, I would have flown down here and sort of turned this way. That is an awful drawing. Yeah, turned that way. And that sort of threatens the flanks and rears, so it forces Rex to sort of do something about that. But that's just me, I don't know. Backseat driving. But he hasn't actually moved anything yet, he's just putting those MBF bases down as to plan where things should go, because you don't want to move something and then realize, oh, that's not the right move, and then go to put them back and not knowing exactly where it is they started from. Good to see you joining as well, Thomas. Hopefully it's not too boring. You can see he's got a laser line there marking out the angles. Turn 2, such a cagey turn before everything starts to collapse. So it looks like he's trying to see if he can see, once Rex moves his head. Get out of the way, Rex. Go and get. There's a little individual here. I think he's trying to figure out if he can see him to charge him, if there's room. Because this guy here, I'm pretty sure flies. This is a character on a big flying beastie. If there was room, we might have been able to get in there and attack it. But that's probably wouldn't have been a smart move anyway. Sort of leaves him exposed to anything that Rex can throw his way. So instead of going over the back there, on the far left, this flying cavalry, he was possibly planning to move him there. Looks like he's changed his tact and might just go charge these guys. Either way, it looks like Rex has created a bit of a problem for Lyle to solve, and he's not sure how to answer. Go away. There we go. He also has to factor in those rifle hordes in the top left, just outside the forest and in the flank. If he ends up charging anything else with those beasts where he's got those blank MDF bases, then those rifles really don't have much to shoot at. I mean, I guess he's got this one with the token and this one on the far side that he could fire at. But you don't just want to be doing piecemeal. You sort of want to focus it all down to try and take one unit off. Otherwise, what's the point? They're just going to be surviving till the end of the game. Damaged, but surviving. Again, I need to get some proxy bases like what we're seeing here. Because I push things through, realise it was a mistake, can't put them back, and oh well. Live with my decisions. Lyle trying to Tetris this solution. What fits where? I don't think it matters. I think he's going to bounce against the Dwarven armor, and then Rex is going to burn him to death with those 3 flame belchers and the steel behemoth just to the right of it. How much time per game? They're using chess clocks, and I believe it's 1 hour each. Yeah, using chess clocks, so you can't waste your opponent's time. Other games you can sort of slow play your opponent, which is bad form. But in Kings of War, when you're using a chess clock, it's not mandatory, but we do it for tournaments. Just keeps things going, and you can't slow play anyone. If you want to play slow, then that's on you. If the time runs out, then you are not allowed to do anything else. Dice down, and your opponent can finish off their clock. If you've scored points and all that jazz, that's fine, but no more movement for you. No more fighting for you. Take too long to move? No, it's all about the time on the clock. If you run out of time, you can't move anything else anymore. Your opponent can do everything else until their time's up. For the most part, people are usually pretty quick. There's usually 10, 15, 20 minutes on the clock. As a goblin player who has to move a lot of units and roll a lot of dice, it usually cuts fine. Only a couple of minutes on the clock. Pardon me. But when you've got situations like this, like lots of flying units, and you have to think about ranges and angles and whatnot, that's analysis paralysis, and not sure what to move where, and if that's going to create more problems in the next turn or two, can get you, and you just end up wasting 10-15 minutes thinking without actually doing anything. No turtling. I mean, if you really wanted, you could sort of castle up and say, come at me, but then you're not going to get any scenario points like this one where you have to get into the middle. You have to stand on those golden tokens, and you have to spend a turn picking them up to actually score, otherwise you get no points. So there's a pile here, there's a pile here, and probably here. And to pick them up, you have to stand on it. You can have multiple units standing on it at the same time if you finagle it that way. Or, like in Rex's case, because he's already got these two, if Lyle manages to take them out in combat, he can pick those tokens up instead. And it does look like Lyle's moved forward on the far right there, and with that spear regiment is picking up a token. And it looks like he has charged. There was a, what are they? Foot guard from the forest. Let me get my pen out. Into this unit here, this little regiment. I say little, they're dwarves, they're still tough. And he was able to fly the flying character into the flank there. He couldn't get that unit in because it's too big, but this one was fine. Will it be enough? I do not think so. And it looks like he's also got that flying cav into the side of that square character there. Here. He might be able to take that out, but to what end? It leaves him exposed to the other hordes, which is the strength of Rex list. Like, you get through one, there's still another layer. So he's into the shooting now. Once all the movement's done, we go to the shooting phase. Fire your guns, cast your spells. And he's getting those 2 rifle blocks up the top there. One and 2 firing both into that unit there. Getting a handle of this pen, which is good. Not wasting so much time. So he's done his damage, he's rolled his nerve just to see if he can take it off. And it doesn't look like he's rolled high enough. For you newbies, Josh and Thomas, each unit has a value assigned to it, basically determining their morale. Hordes usually have a pretty high number. In Rex's case, they are, well, that particular one is, what, 123? You add up all your damage that you've done, roll 2 dice, and add the result of those 2 dice to the damage, and it has to beat that route value of 23. Smaller units usually are much lower nerve. Regiments are sitting around the 16. Those war machines, for example, they're even less at 12. Okay, so looks like he's cast a spell on that one, probably Wither and Perish to try and disorder them, make them less likely to hit in combat on the next turn. And looks like he's cast another spell on that same unit, loading them up. And which spells would they be? Wither and Perish and Scorched Earth, yeah. Making them weak and harder to hit, in the hopes that Rex doesn't do much. It looks like he hadn't finished shooting that Horde unit. He rolled the nerve and was able to take him off. And now I guess he's just deciding where to put the token that they were holding. Which is expected. I mean, those Hordes have got 20 attacks each, so they're... And it wasn't the first time he's shot at them. So at least 60 dice were being rolled at that unit. And the rifles have a piercing 2, reducing the armor by 2. Meaning those dwarven defenses of, on average, 5s and 6s are going down to 3s and 4s. So, that's 1 down. Not first blood, but the first unit of Rexes to go down. That unit drops the token, leaving it free for Lyle to possibly grab. Not every unit can grab a token. They need to have unit strength. So these guys here, will let me double check. Let's make sure I'm not lying. Yep. These things. Oh, come on, pen. Blop, blop, blop. These war machines. No unit strength. So they can't go and claim those objectives. Which is good for Lyle. But, again, can he get through it? So it looks like we're doing the combat on the right there. The one unit with the Tory gate, the red line there. Into the front of the bulwarkers. So we've done 7 damage. 15 total, so he's rolled an 8 and he's got 15 in total, which is not enough. The regiments are 14-16, so he's wavered that unit, which means they can't do anything in combat. It can move back, but again, like I said at the start, dwarves have headstrong. When they go to move, they roll a dice, and I don't know, I think it's like on a three or higher. They basically shake that waiver off and can continue on as normal. Looks like we might be moving on to the character into the flank of that central horde. On the flank, he gets his double attacks, so that should be 7 goes to 14 attacks, hitting on 3s. Crushing strength 2, thunderous 1, which means reduces the defense by 3. And he should be wounding on 2s. It should be a lot of damage, but it is a horde, a lot of nerve. That looks like a 6, 8, 9 roll. That's a pretty good roll, but obviously not enough. And then we've got the far left horde, I think. The large beast cavalry, this one here. Large beasts are hitting on 3s as well, but they were in the forest. You can see the back edge there touching the forest, which means they're going to be hindered, so they hit on 4s instead. So those units are vicious, which means any results of 1 on a dice, when they go to damage, he can reroll them. This increases the odds of actually doing damage, but I didn't think he would take him off. Just doesn't have the weight of dice to take off a horde of dwarves. And obviously didn't roll high enough to do anything, as we expected. That might bring us to the end of his turn, unless there's something I'm missing. It looks like I've just missed which combat. Can't tell. Now we're doing that one that I pointed out before. I don't know what I was looking at. No, it's a... It might be a cannon or Sony. It's a... SLR camera. Don't know if it's DSLR, it's Celix. And we've got it hooked up via micro USB. Not USB, a HDMI. That goes to a Camlink Pro adapter and a long USB cord from that into the laptop. This so we get better control with zoom and all that jazz. And it looks nice. Alright, looks like they've taken a pee break, so that gives me a chance to take a look to see how much time is on their clock without distracting them. Just give me a sec. Okay. We're not even halfway, and there's only 31 minutes and 32 minutes on each side. So it's they gotta start moving. So like I said, turn 2 is probably the most cagey of the turns. Turn 1, you're too far to do anything. Turn 2 is where you start trying to plan what should be hitting what and trying to take things off. And now the grind begins. I'll just show you what the setup actually looks like. Just give me a sec. I've got my Logitech webcam for my face here. But then we have all of this junk. Probably can't see because of that. There we go. So it's a big rig looking down onto the table. Lyle might be a bit shy. I didn't ask for his permission to see if he wanted to be on camera or not. Too bad. So it looks like Rex is back from his break. So let's jump back over to the action. Thank you, Scott. It It'll come down to budget because like it'll be a bit of effort to get further from there. Um, Lyle just tugging on his collar in a gesture that he's sweating under a bit of pressure. What was I saying? Oh yeah, because of the effort it'll take to get there, I don't think we'll be able to unless we get some sort of backing or sponsorship or some help from the community to fly up there. But Canberra, it's at least it's a 7-8 hour drive and not as expensive as a result. I like doing the commentary, and I like that others in the community can watch what's going on. I think it's good for the game. I don't know how interesting it is for those who aren't into it. Josh, Thomas, if you're still there. But yeah, it would be good if we could get around to each major event, or Masters at least, to do this. Probably not Clash of Kings, because I actually want to play a game sometime. How many in your crew travel? Well, this year is just me. I mean, we usually travel for tournaments. Selec does a pretty good job to try and get out there. I live in a couple of hours from the CBD, so less so. But we try to get to as many as we can. Good, good. Good for the confirmation, Thomas and Josh. But yeah, this year it's just a solo thing. Selec can't make it because he's attending a wedding, and Andrew's got family time. I'm just sort of grateful that the settings for OBS that we're using were retained from last year, so it didn't have a whole lot of setup like we did last year. I think we spent about 3 or 4 hours trying to set this thing up, trying to get it working. Good, I'm glad I can explain it okay. Alright, so top of the third, the movement phase. Rex is countercharging, and oh, looks like he's got a excellent charge. Let me bring up my pen. One of the hordes was in the proper angle to be able to get these guys in the butt, which means triple attacks is coming Lyle's way. I would suspect that that unit is disappearing this turn. He's moved the Steel Behemoth. The big, chunky... It doesn't look all that big, but... stats-wise, it's big, this thing. Moving up. That is a pain in the neck to shift. It is defense 6 on all sides. Has a nerve of 17-19, and with a little Stone Priest sitting about, I don't know if we can heal him. He doesn't have the dwarf keyword. No, can't heal him. Still, it's a pain in the ass. That defense 6 is such a killer. It just means, like, if you've got no sort of way to reduce that armor, you have to roll a 6 on a d6 to do 1 point of damage. But unless you're throwing a whole lot of dice and hoping for a whole lot of 6s, there's not much hope for you to take that off. Looks like the dwarves on the far left there are backing up. They're not countercharging. Why, do you ask? Because then that allows him to move his flame belchers, what he is doing now, in range, and then blast him with fire. You can't shoot at something when it's in combat. And I don't think those dwarves are super good combat units anyway. They're just anvils to be bounced off for this exact scenario. Someone charge you, you take it, you bounce back, and unload with all the flames. So we're just looking at the angles there, just to see if he can see them, I guess, for cover or not. So he's making sure that that flame belcher is in the flank arc, which means there's not going to be any cover. If he was back a little tiny bit in the front cover, then, or in the front arc, then he would have to be shooting over his dwarves, making it harder to hit. Just increasing the chances of rolling more successful hits before rolling to damage. Doesn't look like he's going in to claim those 2 tokens that he dropped from that horde before. Probably doesn't need to until right till the end. He's still got 3 more turns after this. That Steel Behemoth could probably just pivot 90 degrees and slowly pick those things up. And I don't think Lyle will have any way to stop him. Meanwhile, Lyle on the far right, that's that regiment there. I don't think that's going to see combat at all. I think this one here is just going to sit there the entire game and try and survive. It's scoring in points at the moment, so why throw him into combat and potentially lose him? Looks like we're checking the arc on the flank of those Beast Cav on the left side there. Seeing if those dwarves can charge into the side of it or not. It would be harder for him to hit the dudes because there is a fence that's going to make it difficult, or the forest. So you won't be able to get around either of them. Like that unit will sit there and go, I'm just trying to fight over a fence, and then makes it harder to hit. Sure, it doubles your attacks, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's not going to be enough. First CC and dried down. Okay, looks like he's just marching those dwarves. They have a rule called ordered march, which means you can go at the double, twice your speed, and be able to pivot. Normally you can't do that. Normally you have to go straight in a march. Or and at the double movement. But dwarves are bent, so they get to do that. Yes, it is delish. The drinks aren't the cheapest here, so if you wanted to shout me a drink, shoot some cash over to our PayPal, directmisfire@gmail.com. It also helps the game flow better because, you know, you can, it'd be a bit dry otherwise. Rex thinking he probably doesn't need to, but he's doing it anyway. Putting on a show. Making sure Lyle doesn't feel so bad. Man, I hate those things. I've played Rex and I'm going to say almost identical list to this last year. It wasn't last year. Jeez, time goes fast. Convic earlier this year, a couple of months ago, and they are terrible. They just burn everything, burn the world. Can't do anything about it. Try to go for those things, then the other dwarves get you. Try to take out the dwarves, they just bounce back, and then the things burn you. And in this tournament, we're not using the latest Clash of Kings updates, which came out a couple of weeks back. So no command dice in this, which is probably good for everyone else except dwarves, because they get some pretty good command orders. So none of the updates come through, no tweaks or anything. I'm pretty sure they're going to be using it, the Clash of Kings tournament, what is it? Is it November? Yep, in January. 2 months' time. So it looks like he's casting a spell on his units. And now he's going to try another spell on the Beast Cav. What has he got? Scorched Earth. Disorders them, means they can't fly. Which is what you want on a flying unit. It just puts them, those flying Beast Cav, in their place. He now cannot escape the fiery death that's coming to him. And here comes the fire. Hitting on 4s. Taking out all the misses. Now rolling to damage. The Beast Cav are defense 5, so he needs 5s. Probably not a fantastic target, being high defense, but every damage counts. So he's done 5 damage to that unit. Not sure what they're on at the moment. The Beast Cavalry have a nerf of 15-17, so they waver on a 15 and get kicked off the board on a 17. I think Rex has got to roll reasonably high to take them off. Let's see how we go. So this roll a total of 17, which should be enough. So unless Lyle's got a character to inspire him, I think they're gone. Okay, so he does have someone inspiring nearby, so he has to re-roll that result. And it doesn't look like he rolled high enough. So that unit is in the game for another turn at least. Okay, he's done with his shooting. Time for the combat phase. That horde of short guys are charging into this character on a flying donkey. Probably not a flying donkey, but I'm going to call it a flying donkey. Gets a lot of attacks because they're a horde. I think 25 attacks. He might be getting them in the flank as well, which means he gets to double it. I can't quite tell. Maybe it's in the front, I don't know. So he's rolled to hit, rolling to damage. That character will have defense 5. And I don't think Rex's Dwarves have any sort of damage mitigation, so needing the 5s. And does 6 damage. Can't tell if there's anything else in that fight. Nah, he must be doing it twice, so he must have gotten it in the flank. A bunch of hits. Taking out the misses. And damaging on 3s, if I heard that correctly. $12 with that round. That's pretty high. That's going to take him over the nerve limit, so he just got to roll double 1s twice, which is the lowest number you can get. And doesn't, so easy. See your character. Now that he's beaten that character, he has to do something with that horde. He can move it forward, he can move it back, or he can change the facing. So it looks like he's moving forward. Is he? Or maybe he's moving back to make some room. Yeah, he's moving back. Rolls the dice. Half the result. That's how far you move back. Which is not very far. Second combat, we've got the regiment there hitting the horde with the Tory Gate. This one here, I don't expect the dwarves to do anything there. Ah, piss off. There we go. What are those? Ah, that'll be the spear guys. Yeah, so. More defensive than an offensive unit, but it doesn't matter if you roll well. Nine damage to that horde. They're about half damaged now. They've got a waiver and route of, what is it, 21, 23? Which means you would have to roll double sixes to do anything. Which he didn't do. And now we've got that chunky combat in the center. Character hitting the spear fellas, the regiment. The upper left of that hill. This guy here is hitting this one. Slowly whittling that damage down. Double checking the route result, and obviously didn't do enough to take that one off either. Which means they're stuck for another combat. But now we've got the big boy. We have that steel behemoth. He's got 12 attacks plus d6. And then you double it because it's a flank. So minimum, what's that, 24, 26 minimum, depending on what he rolls on the dice. 26 to 32, I think. That's a lot. This thing is hitting on 4s. It's a big tank. It's not known for its melee prowess. But when it does hit, it hits like a tank. So now that he's done his hits, he has to wound them on 2s, anything but 1s. Five, 10, 11, 12 damage on a 15-17 unit. And then he's got the horde in the butt of the thing, which triples their attacks. What's that? 75 attacks hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s. It doesn't matter. Just take them off. Just roll it. Just roll the dice. Don't make him waste it. But he's going to make him roll it. Again, to whittle down that clock, that is a tactic to sort of present your rear in the hopes that your opponent charges, and then having to roll 3 times the amount of attacks than normal. There's just the conversation between the two players of, do I roll it out or not, or do I just roll the 2 dice to see if I take it off? Lyle might be a bit, I don't know. it's a weird situation. Like, do you force your opponent to do it or not? How salty do you want to be? I guess this is like a competitive event, so maybe you should make your opponent roll it out. We'll probably be down into the 10-15 minute mark on the clock. I'll just double check, see if I can sneak by. Yeah, Rex is on 12 minutes remaining. Turn 3, 12 minutes remaining. So Lyle getting him to roll those dice could have been a thing, to drop that down. Lyle's still got 30 minutes to go. But looks like they've agreed, and that large beast cave is gone, as expected. How many people will roll in over the weekend? Who knows, Tom? Who knows? On the stream, or swinging by to check out the event live, physically? I don't think there's that many visitors. We don't get a whole lot of visitors. But I guess international audience, pretty sure the UK would be asleep at the moment, so they might catch the end of the third game, or perhaps the start of tomorrow's game. But then I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch viewing the recordings afterwards in a more convenient time. It's a set invite event. What have we got? 8 tables, so 16 of the masters playing here, and then there's another little side event with another 12, 14, 30 total. That we're able to make the trip over. Okay, now we are at the bottom of the third turn. I'm pretty sure it's the third turn. I may have missed one. Let's just hope the players are counting. Yep. Third turn. Alright. We're almost halfway through this game, and it's looking pretty dire for Lyle at the moment. He's got very few units left. So what is... Lyle's got this. He might be able to keep that alive, maybe. Most of the shooting is here, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get over to try and destroy him and take or prevent those tokens from scoring on Lyle's end. Because he only score at the end. And what else has he got? He's got this unit stuck in combat. He's not going to be able to escape there. He's got this unit stuck in combat with this guy, with a horde bearing down on him. He does have 2 hordes of rifles. If this unit charges in, you can effectively just take them out of the game. And then we've got this unit which has been got Scorched Earth cast on it, which means he can't fly, which means he's basically going to be hitting those guys at a reduced efficiency because of the spell as well. And that's about all that Lyle's got. So not looking good on that side. I did pick either Rex, who's playing these dwarves, or Matt Truella, Mr. T, to win. Matt won his first game with 19-2, so very solidly. And it looks like Rex is going to take this one away too. So my predictions are pretty good so far. I mean, I shouldn't count Lyle out now, but I will. Seems like a nice guy. Got some cool tats. Shame about the dwarves though. Okay, so Lyle's just trying to see what his options are with manoeuvring this bloody disordered flying cavalry unit. He can't do a whole lot. So the problem is, like, it's not really a problem. He's screwed either way. If this unit charges into here, it sort of lines up here. And then you've got this Dwarven unit in Rex's turn. Should be able to see the back of that unit and sort of charge in and get a rear. Or Rex just still might focus fire. But I would think Rex goes and takes these guys out with the flames. Just to get more points on the board. the attrition bonus at the very end in case there's a tiebreaker. Oh yeah, can't even see it properly, but Rex has also got, what is it called? Dwarf Lord on Larged Beast. I'm pretty sure that's him. Sitting here. Who is a reasonable combat unit. Again, very sturdy, defense 6. Moves a bit faster than a dwarf because he's not actually running. He's riding something. And does some good damage in combat. Like, you can't ignore that thing either. So what I would do in Lyle's case, I mean, I can't speak too loud because he might hear me, is, whoop, don't mean to do that. Move this thing and just get as many, maybe one more token, because I think there's only 3 in that pile. And then just move them back and just try and hide until the game ends, just to score something. There's no way he's getting any of those other tokens. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for joining in. I'll check the PayPal wallet in a moment and get another beverage. I'm getting a bit thirsty. Bloody talking is not good. It's like makes my throat dry. I'm not used to it. And for 2 days straight as well. That's the big thing. Love to see some pics of the scenery and tables. Yeah, sure. Maybe after round 3 I might walk around, take a couple of photos, post them on the Direct Misfire Facebook page. You can have a look at them there. I think there's going to be Best Painted Army as well. So I think the organisers might take photos of armies and post them on their thingy as well. Pardon me. Okay, so Lyle doing the obvious and charging those dwarves because you can't really do much else with that large cav unit on the far left. Looks like he's going to move the rifle horde somewhere. Not going to stand and shoot, he's going to try and do something else with them. Worried about Golok. That's still Behemoth, the tank. So checking its arcs. I think he's just gone through the motions at the moment. I mean, you don't want to give up, but he's certainly pushing shit uphill at the moment. Dwarfs, yeah, they are. It's not intentional, but now it will be. Because I don't like them. Right. There we go. Done. If you see any mistakes, let me know, because I don't know. I'm spinning too many plates here. It's a long day. Not even halfway. Alright, so Lyle trying to do something. Trying to bring it back. Trying to shoot. So he hasn't moved that rifle block, he's just going to shoot. Take out a flame belcher, which is probably a good idea. Those things are jerks. Going for the nerf check. He shouldn't need much, but it's inspired, so he has to re-roll. Get out of it. Why he didn't do it? Oh, maybe he was just doing some more damage, some chip damage. Maybe. Or that might have been Iron Resolve, so if he fails the nerve check, he heals one, so he just reduces the damage even further. Man, doors are bent. How about, because of the current situation of this game, we change it to work your stupid keyword. There. Poor Lyle. Kingdoms of Lament. What are we doing there? Looks like he's throwing something. Maybe it's a spell. Ah. One of the two debuff spells on that unit. To what end, really? To protect his horde of foot guard? There's still 3 more turns to go though. It's delaying the inevitable. I'm sorry, Lyle, if you watch this back, I'm sorry. Okay, so he's cast both of his debuff spells. He's only got 2 of the things. Scorched Earth and Wither and Perish. Rolling the nerve on a thing. Didn't do it. So he must have wavered that unit on the far left, and now he's going for the Flame Belcher. That should do it. Rolled a 9. He's in range for Inspiring, so might have to do it again. And I can't read that. I think he only rolled a 4. Plus 7 is 11, which is not enough. That unit is wavered. Doesn't leave the board, but it can't really do anything next turn. Hasn't done well with the dice rolling there. Wavering 2 units, not taking them off. Poor fella. And now we move on to the midway point. I mean, we say midway, but we know it's not going to last that long. I'll just change the text here. There we go. Oh wait, we're not turn 4 yet. I was a bit too eager there. Let's go back. Because that was just the shooting, and then we move on to the combat. There's only 2 combats that I can see.
What did you put in, mate? Our scores aren't matching.
Cav unit on the far left, and the Horde. Center right. And he's taken that regiment out, finally. Which is why those spells on that other Horde, that center, are useful. Because when they charge that Foot Guard Horde, they're going to do less damage. Unless Rex rolls well. So that's 1 out of the way. We've got the next one coming. I think the camera might have shaken a bit. Let's see if I can get it back. Because it's frozen. Man, this camera is touchy. And I've just stood on my mic cord, so... Oh, just give me a sec. Try and fix the camera. Oh. And it's gone black. Great. So it means it's disconnected somewhere. Are we back? Looks like I flipped the table, so make it go away. There we go. Back in action. Might have to whip out the old Velcro and make it a bit more sturdy, that cable. It's not looking too good. Thank you, Josh. Much appreciated. And yes, Thomas, he was praying. He wanted to do one wound. It's just something. Because if you do one wound, then you get to roll that nerve check to try and attempt to take that thing off the board. But as you can see, it's still there. So it didn't work. There is no God. Not for Lyle, at least. Josh Davis, what's going on? Bloody hell, mate. What's in that reference to? Thanks, Tom, for the drink. And Scott, when you look at this back, thank you. Looks like it's come through fine. And you too, Josh. What is the strategy you would use in this situation? If I was Lyle, it would be damage control. Take what I can and book it. Like you can't win this. It's out. I mean, you can, but it would rely on Rex having very, very poor luck and you having very, very good luck, which is not something you can rely on. So take the unit with the 2 tokens on the far right and just walk it back. If there's a 3rd token that he can grab there, pick it up and leave. Just to get something, because at the moment he's got the 2, but like, will it survive? I'm just trying to help. Yeah, sometimes things are beyond help. And I'm sure Lyle understands, like, he's here at the Masters tournament. It's not like he's just accidentally fallen on this. He was invited because he did well. And Rex's Dwarves are tough. It's a tough list. Defensively tough list, and I guess offensively in terms of the amount of firepower he can put out. I guess it comes down to just Lyle not having the tools for this. Like, he did well on the right side, but if he had some sort of speed, instead of trying to maybe try and take dudes off, like if you can just jump in, grab a token, jump back in the center, because you're faster than the Dwarves, you should be able to get on their first turn. And then just win by a small margin, because a big win's not going to happen unless you've got the tools to take everything out, which Lyle doesn't. Yeah, but also because this is the Masters, it's like, do you lose big? Because if you lose a little bit, then you can still come back in the later games. Because it all adds up. And also because we're playing blackjack, the more you lose in terms of units, the worse it is. So if you can try and save as much as you can, minimize the loss, then you'll be better off in the next games. I think last year's Master may have lost 1 or 2 games, but because they were big wins, that put them over the edge. Or maybe they only lost 1. I don't know. But you can still lose and come out on top at the end of the event, as long as you don't lose big. But Lyle just doesn't have much chance to escape now. Those crossbow hordes on the top left, they are going to be assaulted by dwarves. It looks like they're in combat. So they're not going to be able to run. The cav on the far left is gone. That unit in the centre is gone. The horde will go because there's a bloody steel behemoth staring down at them. And Rex still has 3 flame belchers. Minimize the loss. Damage control now. And I should be able to get a couple more drinks. I will wait a moment though, because I don't know how much longer this game's going to go. And I need to go to the loo. Oversharing? Is that a thing? Yeah, stop the bleeding. Yeah. And sometimes you forget that, like, you don't have to go all in. You can sort of minimize. I often see red and go for the kill when I shouldn't. But I also think that's a bit more fun than doing the smart thing and picking up a token and running. So it looks like we're into... Are we still shooting? We're getting flame belched, looks like. The 2 just slightly left of the centre. Wait, I've got a pen, I don't have to describe it. I keep saying that. These guys here, I think they're burning either that one or that one. Yep. Done 7 damage so far. Casting a Bane Chant on that horde, just to the right of centre. Trying to counteract one of those spells that were cast on it to make it weak. Alright, I'll be quick. I'll be back in a moment. We'll see if he's still alive by the time I get back. Is it over? Nope. The pain continues. Okay, so that horde of foot guard are gone. Is he killing the beast cavalry horde? Yep. Fours to hit. Now to damage. Another 7 on top of that, so we're getting close. That was enough. Yep. So Lyle just has 2 hordes of riflemen and a regiment of spear dudes. Spear dudes. I didn't fall in, no. So this must be up the very top in that little pond. Yep, attacking that that horde. Not sure which one he's rolling for. Checking to see if something's inspired, it looks like. Yep. Okay, that must have been one of Lyle's ballista, one of the war engines. 1 down, 1 remains. Alright, end of, well, this was top of 4 done, down to the bottom. Let's have a look at the clock. What's the... Oh, you timed out. Wow. You're still in it. So Lyle's got 16 minutes, 30 to go, and Rex is timed out. That means his dice are down. He can no longer move any units, make any attacks. And Lyle has 3 more turns, including this one, to get as much shit done. That's a big shift there. Run, Lyle, run! Well, better change the name of that that army then. With a bit of hope. Kingdom of Lament? Question mark? Can he make good on this though? He doesn't have a lot of combat units. I mean, he now could get that spear regiment on the right into... oh, where's me bloody cursor? Where's me mouse cursor? So this one here, because he's safe and he can't be attacked anymore, he could go into here and just try and take him off. He's got 3 turns to do it. I would think that we would try and shoot these guys off, make him drop that token. Possibly turn 5 or 6, have these guys walk in to pick it up. These guys can walk in, pick that one up. It might actually shift. This might, because of Rex's timing out, that might have lost them the game just because of how far in we are. It's like it's only turn 4. That could be the big difference. What a swing. They were winning, Josh, but Rex has timed out, which means he can't make any more moves, he can't roll any more dice. And so Lyle has 3 turns, possibly a 4, because it's like a 50-50 at the end of the game if you play turn 7, to try and take out as much as he can and pick up those tokens. Yeah, this was a certain victory for Rex until he timed out. Yeah, that's right. Unencumbered for the good part. He's got to do as much as he can, but he doesn't have a whole lot. That's the problem. He's got a ballista that could, I guess, shoot. Checking the distance, see how far it is to that point. They're in terrain, which means they can't go at the double. They can only go this normal speed of 5. It'll take him a couple of turns to get there. You can't end your turn within an inch of an enemy unit either. So he has to sort of thread that needle. I guess he doesn't have to worry about those war machines, but he is going to have to shoot them or charge them or something to get close to them. Yeah, having a score counter would be good. Maybe I'll muck about with it after game 3, so we've got them for at least game 4 and 5. It might take a little bit to set up. Maybe I can do it for game 3. I don't think it would be that hard. It looks like Lyle's going for it. He's going to try and get as close as he can. Even though they are ranged units, I'd still charge them into, if I can, if he can, into the war engine just to get close and then pick up a thingy token. Okay, let me see if I can add a text box. Might have to add 2. At the moment, he has 2 tokens, I think. Can't see how many Rex has got. He's probably got 1 at the moment. Did that work? No, it didn't. Okay. Hopefully that makes it a little bit clearer. Is this a victory points game, or do you call them objectives? I reckon objectives. Yeah, that's right. Rex might defend them. Like there's still 3 turns of shooting that he can do. Throw enough dice, you might be able to score it. Like he's in the, pardon me, that rifle horde. Why can I never see my cursor? There. Okay, so this rifle horde getting into the flank of these, even though they're pretty hitting on 5s, 6s if he came out of the forest. That's still 50 dice he's rolling, or 40 dice. It's not nothing. And he's got a couple of turns to do it. Not only will that then take out a unit for the attrition bonus, but also make the objective point swing in his favour. And I'm not sure if Rex has 1 or 2 tokens, because it looks like this horde here might have a couple. I guess they're just checking to see where the horde could end up, because again, you can't end your move within an inch of any of the other enemy units unless you're charging. We need more arrows and drawing. What, like this?
That does decide the game.
Oh, looks like we've got a query here. Rex has gone off to one of the organisers to ask a question. The hill bonus. Basically, when it'll just sort of add to the height, or if you're running or charging off a hill, you'll get Thunderous Charge 1 bonus, making it easier to damage your opponent. If you're off the hill. You have to be on the hill and then charge off it. No, you wanted arrows and pictures.
So they were here, and he's trying to come down here and pivot. So he comes within one, but finishes outside.
Yeah, they're just discussing where the unit can land, because like I was saying, the 1-inch rule. Which is why you charge a unit, because you can, or you have to end closer to, well, I guess, in base contact with the unit.
I'm working out exactly what you're talking about. But it was kind of like this here, and he went right through to there.
They should have stopped the clock at this stage. We don't want Lyle running out of time as well and just negating all of that advantage. I'll just quickly squiz over and take a look exactly how many tokens Rex has got.
Because I think he had to pivot to get out of the that's the thing I was just
Okay. I've miscounted. Rex has actually got 3 tokens. Not 5, 3. Yeah, there we go. So this unit here has got 2, and this has got 1, while Lyle's only currently got 1 and 1 there. So he needs to get at least that one to make it a draw. I don't think he's going to be able to get in there. If this can somehow go in there and kill it, he can pick up both of those tokens, making that swing into a win. So that, I think, would be his goal. If he can take out that unit, it's guaranteed victory. It'll be end on 2 to 3. Sorry, 4 to 3. Is this Warhammer? No, this is Kings of War. There's a very heated discussion. This is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people at the table standing around trying to discuss this and figure it out. Personally, just move at 5, take a shot. Move at 5, take a shot. Charge. Turn 6, take them. You still got time, Lyle. Just do it. It sounds like they're reading out the rules verbatim and then trying to explain it. I think the point is they're worried that when he moves straight, when he goes to pivot to get a new angle, does it go within 1 there? But you can pivot as long as you don't end that move, it's fine. But again, move, shoot. You have 2 hordes that can shoot. And you only have to take him out on the last turn. So just move him 5, take a shot, shot. And then we go to turn 5. Move another 5, take a shot, shot. That should weaken them quite a bit. And then turn 6, charge, and or charge, and then pick them up. Simples.
I don't know where all my time's going. Just making too many decisions.
And this is all coming from someone who are not actually hearing the discussion, so I don't know what's going on.
The problem is not making the decisions. This is the problem.
So he's running up, pivoting. That's not it. That was probably a bit generous. But anyway. Just jump back on. Is Rex fully timed out? Or no, he is out. He tapped out. Not tapped out, he timed out. Okay, so move. Unless these guys have Pathfinder, he can do that? I don't see how that's happening. Or is he charging? Maybe he was in charge range? I don't know.
We're at this point, that's when we realise, oh, wait a minute, I don't think
Rex is saying that they're just explaining rule stuff. This is what happens at the top end of the competition. Gotta make sure you get it right. Don't want to cheat. Inadvertently even. Or without knowing. Yeah, it does. It does hurt. It was a guaranteed victory for Rex until he timed out. Maybe I'll just leave that marker there so we can see exactly what's going on. But this unit here has 2 tokens, and this has 1, and then this unit has 2. So for Lyle to take this game back, he needs to take this thing out to pick up those tokens. Can you explain some of the rules to me? Sure. Or you can watch the stream back. I explained a lot of them. That's up to you. So basically, like, you've got your standard movement. These guys are moving speed 5. That's fine. If they're in a forest, they can't at the double. They can't march through it unless they have the rule to say they can. And as long as you end your movement within outside of 1 inch of a unit. You can't get too close, unless you're charging them. If you declare a charge, then sure, because that's the whole point, getting close to an enemy. You can also pivot closer than 1 inch to a unit, but again, as long as you don't end outside. So he's just threading the needle here, making sure he's staying outside of 1 inch of this guy here, so he can sort of come around that way. As long as he's out of 1 inch there, so he can end there, that's fine. And then I guess in turn 5, if he hasn't declared a charge, is going to try and get these guys. I'm guessing. I can't hear with this headset that I'm wearing on. So now they're just measuring the inches, because it can't be within 1 inch. And it sounds like they're just getting confused as to if you can get closer to an enemy unit while pivoting or not. Maybe it's just the pressure of the game that's getting to them. And again, because Rex is timed out, he can no longer roll any more dice, he can't make any more moves. So Lyle's got the rest of his chess clock to try and do as much damage as he can, or claim as many tokens as he can. Or both, you'd think. See, this is, like, I'm not sure if he's trying to charge or not. If he is, and then this whole thing is a moot point. You just get in there. As long as he's within charge range, just pick him up and place him. That's fine. So it looks like he's not charging and he's trying to get as close as he can. Although I don't see how he got there, because I don't think those crossbows have Pathfinder, which just allows you to move at the double through terrain. But that's not for me to say. So it looks like he's done his movement, he's doing some shooting. Probably at that horde holding the tokens, I'm guessing. And it'll be, I would think, this unit here is shooting because you can't at the double and shoot. So it looks like some damage was done and now he's rolling the nerve check or something. That's the 2 dice. So he's done enough damage, taken that thing off, and now gets to put those tokens somewhere. So he's putting it as far away as he can. Which is why I would have thought charging them would be better, because you get to pick them up. Looks like they're calling the game.
Unfortunately, I feel like that ended did sour the game a bit.
I'm not sure how it ended. Maybe Rex has given up. The house does nothing. The house just gets in the way. It's just a thing that you have to move around. Nerve check like a morale check? Yeah, pretty much. So after the damage done, you roll your nerve check just to see if you beat the nerve value of the unit, and if it does, take it off. So the more damage you do to a unit, the better chance of rolling higher than their value. So like if I've got a unit that has a nerve of 10, you do 2 damage, you need to roll an 8 to take it off.
2 to 1.
2 to 1. So how did that end?
How did it end?
Yeah.
You just shot off my unit of Ironclad.
And then you just call it so because he can go and pick it up, is that it?
No, it was
Turn 6, I thought it was only... Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I missed the 2 turns.
It was... He did 2 turns like pretty quick back to back because I had no time.
Right. Okay, so that's why he was doing the moves quickly, because there was no action on Rex's end. So it was turn 4, then he moved turn 5, and then turn 6. So it wasn't at the doubling, he was just doing turns quickly. Right. I don't know. I can't see a clock, so yeah. You'll have to watch the stream back. Yeah. So it was actually Lyle's got an extra turn, so it was turn 4. Let me get my pen again, unless I dropped it. Nope, there it is. Oof, confusing. Turn 4. These guys move over here, and that's all they do. Turn 5. I guess they're here now. They shoot these guys to take them out, and they're gone. And that's when they ended it. They thought it was turn 6, when it wasn't. So I just discussed with them where they actually were in terms of the timing. And it's quite possible that Lyle gets those 2 tokens on the hill. But even if they don't, Lyle wins that game. Just for how the board is now. because let me get that pen again. Rex doesn't get these two on the hill. They're just free and loose, so he only gets this one, while Lyle gets two there, making it 1-2. We got there in the end. And that's it. That's the end of the second round. I'll need to update the rankings and the standings and all that jazz. Let me go back here to the main screen.
I think that's a very different game if they don't fuck it out in 10.
Oh, there we go. Right. I have to put myself on camera, so it means that me wearing a jacket and tie and whatnot is not wasted. Okay. So we've got the lunchtime now. I think there's paint judging as well. I am going to have some food. Congratulations to Lyle for sneaking in that game, and sorry Rex for timing out. I will have the results of this round at the start of the next stream. I'll end this one, and then when the next one starts, I'll do the posting and whatnot. So keep an eye on your streams. Might be half an hour, might be 4 to 5 minutes, I don't know. But I'll do that soon. And then we'll go again for the final game of day 1 of the Australian Kings of War Masters. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.